Friday at Boom Shakalaka O'Clock because there's always something good happening on the North End and
Oh, is that-
everywhere else. Uh-oh, everywhere else.
everywhere else in the this, and we're here to have some janky internet service today, but it's all good. We're not going to even worry about it. Thank you for joining us, viewers. I think our live stream is actually going to stream live now, right? Okay. Welcome. Chaveevah, we got the best guest today, don't we?
Oh, we absolutely do every Friday. And as you all already know, all this month we've had Precious Clark and Big Q, Quentin Richardson, and they've been talking about love in 21. Be true, hashtag be true to you. Welcome to you all. And we also definitely want to welcome Travis Ferguson, Ferguson Real Estate, my
That
nephew.
Hello,
that
thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here with you guys today.
yes. And Precious and Big Q, welcome to y'all too. Can we get a thumbs up or something? All right. Okay. I'm telling you this, everything's been going so well all day. And then today, trying to get online had to be, a challenge. But it's okay because we're always up for a challenge.
Right.
And so it says live. Oh, Ed, by the way, we're on Rocki and Chaveevah, not North End Update, Ed, by the way. We should be. Ed's Ed's inboxing that he's not seeing it live. Anybody seeing it live on our page? It might be a little lag time because of the internet too, Ed. So let's just keep watching that. Yeah, I see it is live, Ed. So what we want to do, and thank you for keeping us posted on that, Ed. Our guys, talk to you, Travis, because you got all the money, man. And Big Q, did you see our show last week? Big Q, tell him what you did.
I called him out. I called him out because he stood us up. He know what I did. He know
Yeah.
what I did.
Hey,
He answered the call. So we good.
hey, yeah, I know that's right. And I told my mom, you know what? I'm gonna make it up to you. I'm gonna be there on time. I'm canceling all of my afternoon appointments, and I'm gonna be there in person on time, ready to go. So I'm making it up to her.
For
That's
sure.
how you do it.
That's right. That's right. So we're gonna start with you. We got some great questions for the love questions today for Precious and Big Q. But we thought we'd start because we know a lot of people are probably hopefully watching to win the $100 from Travis Ferguson Real Estate, Chaveevah.
Yes, absolutely. So, what should I hit him with this first question?
Yeah, you got a question for Travis to answer?
Yes, absolutely. Jasmine Morris wants to know when should you apply for a mortgage pre-approval?
That's a really good question. And there's a lot of different answers to it. It really just kind of depends on the buyer's situation. We always recommend that just because it's a low inventory market right now, there's not a lot of homes on the market compared to recent history. Because of that, we always encourage buyers to get the pre-approval before you start looking for a house, because you don't want to have to write an offer on a house that's going to be time sensitive and then have to go track down a pre-approval letter. You would like it's best to have that taken care of beforehand. That way there's no surprises and no delays in the process.
Okay, great answer. Thank you. And if you're watching, you might just take note of that. So we got one more question, and then Big Quick, you guys, Precious, you guys got a question about real estate you want to know? You can't be in the drawing, but just want to, maybe you have a question that you've been just dying to ask.
I do. Is the
You do?
prices of home going up now due to the COVID situation? or is it going down? Is it going down or is it going up during the COVID situation? Is this a
Yo,
good time to try to buy houses?
right. That's a really, really good question. What we're seeing is the average home values are rising. Part of that's just due to a normal supply and demand. Just because there's not a whole lot on the market right now. So even without COVID, this time of year, the inventory is pretty low, and that's why it's always a better idea to get, if your goal is to get the most out of your house. If you're selling a house, for example, you'd want to do it around this time of year when you don't have a whole lot of competition on the market. What COVID did was we're seeing these record low interest rates for buyers, and what we're seeing is a lot of buyers taking advantage of that, and that just means that on the buyer side, it's a lot more aggressive, a lot more competitive, and sellers are seeing that, and so you are seeing a little bit higher list prices on homes. The good thing about that, though, Q, and this is what we always tell our buyers, just to kind of put their mind at ease, is even if you see the houses start rising in value, they still have to appraise, and that's what people need to understand is buyers are willing to pay a higher price right now, but the home still has to appraise in order for the seller to actually get that number. So it kind of evens itself out.
Okay. Great question. Great answers, Travis. You always have the best answers. So I want to tell you, we got 6 people in the drawing. We have to ask questions, and we don't have time to read all the questions, but thank you for asking these questions, and thank you for answering them, Travis.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Melissa,
and Mom, real quick, for the questions that we're
don't
not
call me Mom. People might think I'm old enough to be your mother.
Mother, or you want me to, you either get Mom or Big Mama. You get to choose Mom or Big Mama.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
No, I was gonna say, for the questions that we're not able to get to, Mom, Big Mama will send those questions to me, and then we'll post those answers on our page. So you'll definitely get those questions answered.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Travis. We had Lindsay, what was her name? Lindsay Wells, Melissa Wells, Lindsay Johnson, Janice Durham, Phaedra Roby, and Jasmine Morris going into the pot for 100 big ones. I don't know. That's a pretty good prize.
Might be about the easiest $100 you ever made.
Right, exactly. Just for watching the show. And Big Q, how much should we make him give away next week?
Don't put me in it, Big Mama. Don't put me in.
Oh, wow, that's funny. Y'all got you. Okay, we have a winner. We have a winner. Phaedra Roby is the winner of the $100.
All right.
Yay! And you know what? We didn't get to her question, but she has a good one you might want to end on before we talk to Big Q and Precious about the love situation. Is there a program here for teachers buying homes for the first time? That's her question. Since she's a winner, go on and answer it right quick.
You know what? That is a really good question. And I actually got a chance to talk to Phaedra the other day about that specifically, but I think it would be great for the rest of the viewers to hear it as well. Teachers do have a lot of financial benefits when it comes to financing a home. It does depend, and again, I wish I could give you a specific answer, but it does depend on the financial institution. It depends on what bank you go to. Each lender has different programs available to them. So what I would recommend is, if you are in the education field, reach out to either your local realtor or your local lender and ask what programs are available. The reason I say that is because those financing programs do come as kind of first come, first serve. So it just kind of depends on when they're asking to see, if that assistance is available. But there are definitely programs available for teachers.
Great. Thank you so much, Travis. We sure appreciate that. Anybody else got any hard questions for Travis before we let him go? Oh wait, you might want to stick around. We got some great questions. Chaveevah, do you have time, Travis, to stay around while Quentin and Precious answer these hard questions?
Of course, you know I'm gonna make time for y'all. I've been looking forward to this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
We got that love in 21 question. A viewer actually asked this question. They said, we've been in a committed relationship for 3 years now, and we spend a lot of time between each other's residence, so it is pretty serious. Should our next move be living together, marriage, or stay as we are? In other words, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
You want me to go first?
And who's this?
Yes.
Yes, Precious, please.
Well, my answer to that question, and I'm definitely not an expert, but I would say don't move in with each other. I know people think that you're supposed to live together before you get married. I don't think that's something they should do. I think the next step would be marriage. And if you've been in this relationship for this extended period of time and you don't see marriage, it may be a time to evaluate the relationship, because you should definitely date with intention. So if you're dating just to be dating, maybe it's not something you need to do. You have to have for progression in your relationships.
Interesting perspective. Okay, I like that. Thank you, Precious. And we have the same question for you, Mr. Richardson. Doctor.
So talented, so talented. I'm gonna slightly go against what Precious said. I'm gonna play the other side.
Always do that.
Right, because we don't want to give them the same answer. So even though what you said was totally true, I'm gonna come from a non-religious standpoint, because a lot of people wouldn't believe in even living or being with anybody in a relationship, to a certain extent, without being in marriage anyway. So my thing is, if you're together for 3 years and you really truly love each other, and in your heart, at least both of you have an agreement that you plan on being together, I don't think it would be bad for two people to consolidate their bills and put them together and move in with each other. It just depends on that particular relationship. Some people are together and never get married and are together. So I know people, my uncle's been with his what do they call them when they're common law wife for 20 years.
Sure.
Yeah.
And they've never got married. But if they would have used that standpoint, then they would have been losing money for the whole 20 years that they could have been saving. So I'm just gonna say, from the other standpoint, if your relationship is solid, if you have children and they get along, or you guys get along when you're together, there's no need to leave your house sitting dormant while you're laying up with half your wardrobe at somebody else's house, and your towels and every shoes.
You got a toothbrush over here and a toothbrush over there.
Yep.
Right.
Your snacks in the refrigerator and all that. Like, maybe you can pull it off. So it could go both ways.
There you go. Of course. And as always, we know you guys aren't experts. What do you think about that, Travis? Advice?
Man, listen. Hey, I'm gonna put it to you like this. I go by the toothbrush rule. If you leaving the toothbrush over there, then that's you got to start paying rent or something. Yeah.
My goodness.
It's toothbrush official.
Okay. Well, we know you guys aren't experts, but except you in the real estate field, Travis. Thank you for your real estate tips. Chaveevah, what do you want to say?
I just want to say,
before we let them go,
thanks to both Precious and Q for joining us all this month, answering these different questions, sharing your love, insights, and I want to remind everybody to be sure to check out Good Things by Precious. And also,
yes,
if you have not been checking out Big Q's advice column in the Soul Town, make sure you do that every month.
That's right.
Thank you for having us.
You got to say something about the Soul Town.
Oh, yes, of course.
That's right. You're welcome, Precious. And before you go, we're going to say something about the Soul Town because Big Q writes in this, and everybody's got to have one, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that now that we're going to be giving away stuff from the Soul Town. We have a mug that we're going to be giving away, so our viewers got to keep watching for those giveaways too. Get your copy at thesoultownmagazine.com. Thank you guys so much, all of you, for being on. And until next time, we'll be at your place soon, Big Q.
Yep. Special day. Maybe we can get Travis to come through.
Hey,
Please.
Hey, I need to go on a little shopping spree anyway. It's about that time anyway.
Definitely. I'm inviting Precious too. So we're gonna go out with a bang. So I think
do it.
Oh my. All right. Well, thanks again, you guys. It's always a pleasure. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
All
Thank
right.
you.
What I want to do. I want to put you in the waiting room. Okay, thank you. Can you remove your? There we go. I'm so glad they know what they're doing, Chaveevah.
Great. These tech savvy people help us every time. Yeah.
Oh, honey, it's kind of stressful. And then you know what else happened is we weren't public. So I think now we got it all figured out while they were talking. I think we got some viewers now because at first it was just bad.
Oh.
So great interview.
Yes. So much fun. A great group of people to have anytime. Yes. So
Exactly. And now we're going to introduce Roshawn Berry, who is a trailblazer in his field, doing something amazing. And as our other guests, Joshua Mitchell and Daniel Mitchell. Okay.
Joshua and Daniel Mitchell. Yes, and Roshawn Berry. Hi, everybody, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. No problem.
Yes, indeed. One thing we didn't get to say too in our pre-show, Roshawn, I don't know if any of you guys know about Royal Legacy Christian Academy.
I do know about it. We had a couple students that were at Highland last year that ended up transferring to the Royal Academy. So yeah, awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited.
Well, today is nice. High Five Fridays, and every Friday they ask you to give high five. Chaveevah, talk about that real quick.
Yes, absolutely. On High Five Fridays, Royal Legacy, you can give the students a high five by donating $5 or more on any Friday. It goes towards supporting their programs, and you can cash app them at $RLCA Waterloo or PayPal at rlcawaterloo.org/support.
That's right. And it was a crazy time to interject that, but that's how we do. We roll crazy around here sometimes.
Hey, that's what you got to do.
I know. It was okay. And thank you. Want to welcome you, Roshawn. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited. All the great work that y'all doing for our community and just being, leaders, Black women leaders in our community, and just giving, voices to not only the adults and the other leaders in the community, but to our children. And that's so important because our children's voices need to be clear. So that's exciting.
Bless you. And speaking of children, now you guys aren't children, you guys are young men, and you are actually making us all look good by sharing our culture to a lot of people that aren't familiar to it. Welcome, Daniel and Joshua Mitchell. And which one is which now?
I'm Josh. I'm Joshua Mitchell.
And I'm Daniel Mitchell.
Okay, great. Welcome to you guys as well.
Glad to be here.
Okay. Well, we're going to start out with Roshawn. Chaveevah, why don't you go ahead and talk to Roshawn? I know you had some questions prepared for him because we're going to put him on the spot. I feel like that's my baby.
Right. It's all good.
Just in starting, Roshawn, we just like to ask you, just for folks who might not know you, probably maybe 2 or 3 people that haven't met you. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Roshawn Berry, born and raised in Waterloo, Iowa. And so, I mean, y'all know my family, you know,
Yeah.
around here, know my family. My mother is Deborah Berry, former state representative, and I went to West High School. I went to for elementary school. I went to Longfellow. Then, you know, we got fortunate because we were at West Junior, and Central was a high school, and then they made that switch. So we became fortunate as middle schoolers to transition from junior high into a high school building.
Wow, and that was a great building.
Yeah, and it had central air, so it was awesome. And that was an interesting experience in itself, because you know the boundaries change and things like that. So it was a whole bunch of Black kids from the East Side that were integrated with a lot of middle class white students. I ended up going to West High, finishing at we moved to Chicago for a couple of years because my mom moved there. And so I lived there for a couple of years, but ended up coming back home because all my friends and family were back home. I started at first I went to Hawkeye. I was a non-traditional student, and I wanted to be a psychology major. And then I heard about this awesome program. And Dr. Les Huth was running a Dr. Walter Cunningham Teacher Project, and they were trying to recruit minority teachers in Waterloo. So I ended up getting accepted in that program, which that's where I met Miss Chaveevah.
Oh, okay.
One of my instructors.
That's right.
Yes.
You know her, yeah.
She was one of my instructors. I ended up getting a job at John Deere's, and that John Deere being that was non-traditional. So I kind of switched gears for a second and thought I wanted to be a technology information management. And that's just not what I wanted to do. I wanted to support kids. I enjoyed working with kids. And so I ended up finishing up at Upper Iowa. I continued. I got my first job. Shout out to Lucy Evans. She gave me my first job at Lincoln Elementary in 2000.
So you know,
sounds like things came full circle from you being a student of the Waterloo Community Schools to now being a excuse me,
advocate for kids.
Yes.
Yes.
I really wanted to
student, and
yeah.
And now I know that these guys, these Josh and Daniel Mitchell, you guys, knowing that what you're doing is something that Roshawn has kind of been trained for. You kind of deal with children and maybe young people, but only before they get to Josh and Daniel's age. What could you say to encourage them? And plus, you guys, I think, know that he's already talked about 2 or 3 ideas that he had coming. He didn't want to go right to college right away, so he went to Hawkeye Tech. So you have advice for these guys going forward as well, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, because you know, I'll tell you this. One thing the reason why I got into the field is because I wanted kids not to make the same mistakes that I made growing up, you know, and being a non-traditional student, it's very difficult. The longer you're away from education,
yes,
you forget a lot of things. So working, you know, doing homework, getting those routines and those disciplines back in place is a little bit more challenging on top of taking care of your family. So my advice to you as young Black leaders also is, hey, no matter how hard it gets, you know, ask questions, talk to people, lean on people within the community, family members and things like that, but still stay at it. Go to high school, go to college, get that degree. And, you know, because it gets harder and more difficult the longer you're away from school. And if, you know, when I stopped going to school, I thought, oh, I'll go back in a couple of years. And next thing you know, it's 10 years later. So time flies.
Yes. Yes. And now you guys, are you listening to what Roshawn is saying? Mr. Berry, perhaps to you. Who are your mentors and who do you look up to? How did you get this leadership ability that's taken you where you are today?
You know, m- my mother, she was just a big advocate and
Yes.
we always had a lot of deep conversations about the importance of finishing school, getting your degree, not being a statistic,
Mm.
to make a difference within our community and with others. So she really instilled that 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 drive to go back to school and the discipline, because she ended up going back getting her master's also, and so just watching her go through that
Good.
along with working and things like that. My grandfather, excuse me, he had a third grade education. He was from the South,
Sure.
and he he was a very, very hard worker. He was my number one role model when I couldn't get to school or couldn't
All
get.
right.
He would make sure that I got there,
I
regardless
believe
what
that.
he was doing. He would stop what he was doing to make sure that I would get there, and also knowing that he didn't have the education, he continued to push me and tell me the importance of getting an education and going to college.
Yes, a lot of successful people in the Berry family, and I'm one of them.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we want to talk to. No, I understand what you're saying. We want to talk to Joshua and Daniel now. They turned off. Can you turn your mic on?
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Thank you, guys.
Yes.
So, what did you think about what Mr. Berry was saying to you? I mean, do you guys have mentors, or what put you in the place where you feel like you can teach some things?
Oh, well, we definitely it was interesting the way that we came to the conclusion of choosing to teach, because I don't know, with all the stuff that's been happening in recent news and just overall in history, it seems like people at our school just didn't know much about Black history, and like the things that were happening with kids at the school. I'm not going to go into detail about it, but certain moments at the school where it was racially tense, I'll say. And it seems like a lot of people at school were very, I don't want to say ignorant, but that's just how it was. And they didn't know much. So with what we did with teaching, that was just one of the steps that we took to try and educate people in a different way, not just yelling information at them, but also trying to teach them Negro spirituals in a sense of like this meant something to like an entire culture, you know, and this shouldn't go unremembered, you know, like something to that effect. So I'd say like the people that pushed this was majority, like, I don't know, my father was one of my inspirations, because he I wouldn't know as much about Black history if it wasn't for my father. So.
And who is your father?
Joshua Mitchell.
All right. Shout out to dads all over. Right. Love it. Love it. Chaveevah?
Yeah. No, I'll say, Daniel, as I had mentioned to you earlier before, I'm familiar with you as a very creative and talented young man with the Waterloo Writing Project, and I've heard you sing. So I know you have a very beautiful voice as well. So I'm just, wondering in what ways. I'm sure that you are well known, both of you, as far as in what you bring creatively. But was there any kind of a challenge in trying to introduce this traditional music to white students at Cedar Falls High?
Yeah, there weren't like all sorts of hiccups, but in the beginning it was kind of tough to try to explain it to them, because like it had never been a region that was gone to before. So it was unknown territory, even for us, like even for any teachers that helped us out with the process. It was unknown territory for all of them. And so just like approaching certain topics, because like we would teach them, because we taught by rote, which is basically just call and response, like how they would do in a church, any like Baptist church type of thing. That's how we taught it.
Right.
And so that was, for one, different for the students, because they're used to having like sheet music that they can read and look at and like see all the parts. But like, I don't know, it made them feel it a lot more, which was a bit of a challenge. But after we would teach them the words or teach them the melodies of the songs or teach them the harmonies, we would sit down and explain to them the culture of everything.
We kind of went like word by word, just like what this meant to people, like what like it did to help, what it like truly meant, what the background of it could mean, like how it could connect to today. Like we just tried to go in every aspect to try to have some connection. I'm sure we like reached a lot of kids.
Yeah,
not just the words, but the cultural context as well.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
I feel like that was a little shaky for them even to digest, you know?
Yeah, but not only to digest, but also to open up that line of conversation.
It's a tough conversation that people are having now. And we just, like we said before, we are glad that you are in Cedar Falls. And I don't think it's by coincidence that you guys are lighting a fire that needs to keep burning, that people have now. And we know last summer has just been crazy. It's been a hard time to be African American in this country right now. And the fact that these conversations are still going on and teaching culture, it's just amazing. We just want to say thank you. And Roshawn, what do you want to tell these guys? Do you know what they've been doing? Did you hear about it on the news? Because we're wrapping up now. We got to end the show.
I didn't hear about it in the news. I did have one quick question though. I just wanted to ask these young men, did they feel like when they approached this conversation with the staff at Cedar, did you feel like you had the support to teach this type of culture and experience to these white students?
Well, so how we went about it was we went through like one specific teacher, because we just went through the music department with this one, because we're also like connected with our BS. Like, I'm not gonna connect this with our BSU, but like when we tried to do the protest with the BSU, we went to like the principal and stuff like that, because like we stepped out of class to see like if we had the support of him. But you know, that was just one aspect of it. But with this, we went to the music department of the school, and our teacher, Mr. Kranz, he was very supportive, and he actually he sat in the with the students and learned with them, and because he was just so willing to learn as well.
Yeah.
So I would definitely say with this situation, we definitely had the backing from him, and he definitely helped us to, because we're not like teachers, obviously, like we're like trying, like we're doing the best we can, and he definitely helped us like try to convey like what we wanted to, like in the moments like where we felt like it was important for this to be known or to get this like across clearly. He would help us in a sense where it's like, yeah, no, so do you guys understand? And then he'd help us interact with the kids and stuff like that, and by the end it just became a fluid conversation in the classroom, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, it was kind of like the meeting of like 2 points, because like he wanted to like express Black music due to the summer, like he was already for it, and we wanted to express anything we could with Black history at all. So we just it just coincided so well that
Awesome.
Well, Chaveevah and I was saying, Chaveevah, this is all good, and we're glad because it is in a less diverse, even though Cedar Falls is a college town, it still is notoriously been not really progressive enough, I'll say.
Yes.
So what I want to say, Chaveevah, you said something about, okay, this is great, kumbaya, but now what? Chaveevah, talk to that. Yeah.
Oh, you just said it basically. Yeah. What um, do you have a sense that um, their openness to engage with the culture from a traditional music standpoint? Do you have any kind of sense that maybe that opens the door up more to have some other conversations about some other things that need to be broached in Cedar Falls
Yeah,
and other places in the nation, period, really?
most definitely.
You feel comfortable about bringing it up more
Yeah,
going forward?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, I think because in the music department, in the music department, since we taught the songs, I said the teacher had already been very progressive with, the whole protest and like the BLM movement and everything, and so he's taken like his own initiative to make every song sung to the rest of the year made by like a black composer, or like make it like not even just a Negro spiritual, just like a modern black song, like just anything that just shows the history of African Americans. Yeah.
So even in that like one class, he's pushing to like keep that line of communication open. I know I keep saying line of communication, but like that's one thing that we really just didn't have at the school, which is just really exciting to have now. Yeah. But also, I would love to like expand this into like other classes, like because if we can do this in choir, because that's one of the things that people kept coming up with. It's like, obviously we can talk about Black history in like history classes, but how are we going to do this in other classes? And this is just one of those showings of, this can be done in other ways. You just have to be creative.
And you know what? I do want to add, I noticed that, even with my experience being in this field of education and being an educator, that, typically in the music department, they are really good at incorporating just other Black culture and our music and things like that, and trying to expose our kids to a diverse group, a selection of music and experiences. But what needs to happen is we need to address it within our curriculum, because that's not happening.
Oh, yes. And we already know that's a whole nother show.
Whole nother show.
You know what? I know it. But you know what? The main thing, if we have served our purpose. We like to talk about good things and good people happening in Waterloo and the Cedar Valley. And you guys are all about that. So we got to know you a little bit better. Yes. Thank you so much for everything. And you know what? We could probably do a special another day, but we've probably ran way over, and Ed and Agnes might have to leave, but we still got to sing happy birthday, Chaveevah. We missed it last week, and I heard Roshawn and they can sing.
I know.
Right? So we're gonna let y'all sing happy birthday to these wonderful people: Kelly Conrad, Prince Taylor, Randy Fox, Clint Goodman, Talian Green. Sorry if I'm saying your names fast. Ty Smith, Ashley Wortham, Delmar Drain, Clint Shepard from last week, Phaedra Roby, Anita Clark, and who else, Chaveevah?
We also got Greg Ferguson, Terry Smith, Dean Gibbons Cunningham, Joanne Thomas, Shirley Bruce, Jocelyn M.H. Johnson.
Oh, yeah, it was my
birthday. Loretta Young Murphy, Jess D'Artagnan Love, Jacob Lampman, and Robert Oliver. Happy birthday to everyone.
Yes. And Daniel, you guys can sing in one, because only one square can talk at a time. So we like to sing. Why don't you sing the Stevie Wonder version of Happy Birthday, or just sing Happy Birthday together, you guys, will you?
Yeah, sure. No problem. You can.
Okay.
You can do your thing.
Bye.
Okay. So one. Oh, wait. Okay. Where are we starting? Cool. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everybody. Happy birthday to you.
Hey, yes, yes,
All right.
awesome.
Amazing. Thank you so much, you guys. You rock.
Yeah.
And thank you, Roshawn, for being everything that I thought you was and more.
Thank you. Thank y'all for everything y'all doing and giving everyone this opportunity to just share about the work that they're doing. And these young men, these true leaders, and these kids, these young men are our future. And I appreciate y'all. I'm gonna connect with Rocki and Chaveevah to try to get y'all. I want y'all to come speak at our school to our elementary students. That would be awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. We'd love to. Chaveevah?
Yes. I want to thank all of you all for joining us today and sharing with us the things that you're doing. Because what we love to talk about is the great things that are happening in our community, and you all represent all of that. So thank you.
Yes. And shout out to our crew. Thanks for bearing with us on an extra long show. Agnes, Ed, we love you. They're behind the scenes and putting up with us. So until next time, keep doing more of what makes you awesome.
Because it makes us all look good.
Right, like Roshawn, Daniel, and Joshua. All right. Thank you. See you next time.
Thank you. Y'all have a good one.
Yeah.